Awesome. So, ladies and gents, I'm going to help you out by breaking down just this very first day into what I expect you to be able to do by yourself. So, let's go ahead and read through the entire first day one, and then we will break it down just that first paragraph. So, this is called Orientation by Daniel Orozco. Day one. Those are the offices, and these are the cubicles. That's my cubicle there, and this is your cubicle. This is your phone. Never answer your phone. Let the voicemail system answer it. This is your voicemail system manual. There are no personal phone calls allowed. We do, however, allow for emergencies. If you must make an emergency phone call, ask your supervisor first. If you can't find your supervisor, ask Philip Spears, who sits over there. He'll check with Clarissa Nix, who sits over there. If you make an emergency phone call without asking, you may be let go. Does that already sound like a good place to work? Probably not. If I have to talk to someone else before making a phone call, that might be an issue. These are your in and out boxes. All the forms in your inbox must be logged in by the date shown in the upper left-hand corner, initialed by you in the upper right-hand corner, and distributed to the processing analyst, whose name is numerically coded in the lower left-hand corner. The lower right-hand corner is left blank. Here's your processing analyst numerical code index, and here's your forms processing procedures manual. Already sounding very boring here, and I completely understand. You must pace your work. What do I mean? Oh, I'm glad you asked that. We pace our work according to the 8-hour workday. If you have 12 hours of work in your inbox, for example, you must compress that work into the 8-hour day. If you have 1 hour of work in your inbox, you must expand that work to fill the 8-hour day. That was a good question. Feel free to ask questions. Ask too many questions, however, and you may be let go. That is our receptionist. She is a temp. We go through receptionists here. They quit with alarming frequency. I wonder why. Be polite and civil to the temps. Learn their names and invite them to lunch occasionally. But don't get close to them, as it only makes it more difficult when they leave. And they always leave. You can be sure of that. The men's room is over there. The women's room is over there. John the Fountain, who sits over there, uses the women's room occasionally. He says it is accidental. We know better, but we let it pass. John the Fountain is harmless. His forays into the forbidden territory of the women's room simply a benign thrill, a faint blip on the dull, flat line of his life. Wow, John the Fountain is a strange character here. Now, this is our very first day's worth of work here. We're going to be breaking down the very first paragraph for looking at just the basic nouns. If you are working, if you want to work on this online, you can go ahead and get your cell phones out now and open it up your school status account. Go ahead and go to the orientation day one assessment. If you want to go ahead and do that, you may do so. It's going to ask you to break down this first paragraph and select the nouns, it should be, of the very first paragraph. So this is what we're going to be doing here on the board. I'm going to show you what I expect. Now, I did not break down every little thing when it comes to these passages, because at certain times you have verbs that can be used as nouns. You have nouns that can be used as verbs. For instance, you can Google stuff, and that's a noun, but we use it as a verb. Adjectives will sometimes work as adverbs, or sometimes they'll work as nouns. There's a lot of craziness going on sometimes. So to simplify things, I chose the easiest route I could by just selecting the basic nouns in this first paragraph here. So it says, the first sentence, let's break this down. Those are the offices, and these are the cubicles. What are the basic nouns in that one sentence? Offices, yes. Right. We have another one. Basic simple nouns. Sorry? Cubicles. Yes. Cubicles, right there. Simple, right? Continuing on. That's my cubicle there, and this is your cubicle. What's the really one big noun we're seeing? Cubicle, right? That's repeated itself. This is your phone. Never answer your phone. Let the voicemail system answer it. In those three sentences, because it needs to be a little bit longer, I would think, what are the nouns we're using there? Someone else besides my two people who have answered so far. Phone, right? Phone. phone. Never answer your phone. Again, we have it. Let the voicemail system answer it. Now notice the voicemail system, we could break it down into really direct terms, but I'm going to just go ahead and say the whole voicemail system. I'm just going to go ahead and say that whole thing's a proper noun, even though it's not technically. Technically speaking, system is our noun, and voicemail works as an adjective describing it, but it works together as a proper noun. This is your voicemail system manual. We're going to have manual. I'm going to go ahead and say the whole thing because it is a full name of it, though we can break it down further. There are no personal phone calls allowed. We do, however, allow for emergencies. What are some more nouns there? More phone, right? No personal phone calls, right? Now, call would be our, we can just go ahead and say phone calls as itself. We do, however, allow for emergencies. Emergencies right here, and this way it's going to be working as a noun. If you must make an emergency phone call, ask your supervisor first. Our big one here is going to be supervisor. Again, we're going to have phone call. If you can't find your supervisor, ask Philip Spears. Supervisor, Philip Spears, who sits over there. He'll check with Clarissa Nix, who again, we have another one there, Clarissa Nix, who sits over there. If you make an emergency phone call without asking, you may be let go. Again, we could say phone call is our word here, is our noun here. Now let's just break it down the very first paragraph into its basic nouns. What I did online, if you're already working online, I don't think anyone is, but once you get to it, it's going to ask you, I've selected each word and made them a highlightable function. So you can highlight each word if you wanted to. And I asked you to highlight only the nouns found in that first paragraph. The second paragraph, I believe I asked you to select all the verbs, and I continue down like that for each paragraph. That's going to be your online work to complete. Now, if we wanted to, I could go ahead and go through this and select all the pronouns if I want to. We have things like he is said pretty often, my, your, things like that. We can go ahead and select through those as well if you want to. We can go through the verbs. We can go through each one. Every single word that you ever speak is going to have a basic part of speech. It's a part of. Now, certain words, how they're used, can be changed. Like I said, for instance, earlier, whenever you Google something, that's changing a noun and using it as a verb. It's slowly becoming just a simple verb, though, by itself. So that can happen, all right? Now, online, you have your directions for the assessment I would like you to complete. Also, you have the entire passage if you'd like to go ahead and continue reading the entire passage, which is what I would suggest doing. But the online work, the assessment, is going to take you a good little while, so I want you to go ahead and go online and complete that assessment. All right? Go ahead and complete that. I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording.